Hi World History students, Mr. Treehall here, and the purpose of this video is to welcome you to my class and to kind of walk you through for a few minutes so you can see some of the resources that I have set up for you and to just kind of give you a little bit of a strategy on how to do the class. So with that, what I'm going to do is turn this camera off and then I'm going to screen share so you can see some of the important things in this class that I have ready for you. I'm excited to have you in here. All right. The first thing that I want to do is I want to show you the course announcements. So I'm going to do this, present to everybody. All right. So with this, you can see the announcements down here. When you first get into the course, the announcements are the first thing that you see. Now, usually students are quick to get into courses and they don't really take a lot of time to see announcements, but I want to just say to you, announcements are important, not just from me, but from all your teachers. This is where we teachers give you the resources that you need to pass these courses. We all are familiar with this curriculum. You're not. And we spend a lot of time teaching these courses and we know where you're going to have troubles and what you're going to need. So your course announcements are important because they give you the resources. And what will happen after a while, you'll recognize the announcements you've already read. And the thing is, each time you see a new announcement, just take a moment to click on it and see what's in it. I'm going to walk through my announcements really fast and then I'm going to go through the course. So my live office, live classes support announcement basically gives you the link for my live office. What a live office is, it's just me hanging out in this Google Hangout that I'm recording right now, and I'm just waiting for students to come in who need help. And I can see your screen and we can talk and I can share my screen. And basically that runs every Tuesday from 11 to 12 Mountain Time. So if you need help on something one-on-one, and it's Tuesday at 11, you want to click this link and that's going to bring you right into here, and it's very easy to get into and I can see things. In addition to my live office, I offer topically oriented live classes. Every Monday, I'll be sending you an email that kind of goes over where you need to be in my class, what's important that's coming up, and I'm going to give you the schedule for my live classes. I always do live classes on projects and difficult assignments. And then if there's no project or difficult assignment due in that unit, then I also, or that week, then I give one on unit review or whatever. So I don't necessarily have them every single week, but it's most weeks that I have a live class. So you'll get that there. Let's go over my contact information. This is a picture of my son and I, and at Hagerman and National Fish Hatchery. This is all of my contact information. There's lots of different ways to contact me. You have my email. You have a link to my live office. You have 2 different phone numbers here. And this is not the office phone number. This first one goes right to my computer, and I'm always on my computer, so I hear it all the time. It rings like a normal phone. This one is my cell phone number, and I encourage you to use either one that works for you. Please don't call me past 10 or 11 o'clock at night. But again, and I'm spotty after office hours, so I may or may not answer. I tend to get home and I chuck the phone upstairs and I don't think about it until the next day. But again, when you need to get a hold of me, you've got that. And what is important is staying in touch with me. I also have a Welcome to World History announcement. This is the same email that I sent you, and I want to just go over this for a second. So here's the short version of this course. There are 30 lessons in this course and all of your others. And so you need to do about 3 or 4 lessons a week in order to stay on pace. And we're going to talk about pacing in a second. What I want to do right now is go over the types of assignments that you're going to see in here. At the end of every lesson, you'll come to a checkpoint. This is like a lesson quiz. And you can do these up to 3 times. I'm going to warn you, checkpoints are kind of hard, but you may have to take 2 or 3 times. Discussion, you get 1 discussion prompt per lesson, and you generally want to answer in at least 3 to 5 sentences. A paragraph is a good, and they're kind of difficult questions. They're in depth. So you'll know that that I didn't give you full points on discussion if I say something like, I need a little more detail here. That's clue that you didn't get full points on discussion. The good part about discussion, if you don't get full points, you can always go back and add to your prompt. So that's important. A lot of students lose points on discussion because they get kind of lazy and they're trying to rush through things. Just remember, if your discussion grade is low, you can always go back and fix it. Exams are 15% of your overall grade in this course. These are heavily weighted. 15% is pretty big. The good news is I provide you an exam study guide, and it's in a teacher note just before the exam. And if I'm really organized, I also put it in a teacher note at the beginning of the unit. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I don't have the study guides made yet. Projects are also worth 15% of your overall grade. And actually, if you add the project steps in, that makes them worth 25% of your overall grade. So let's talk about this for a second, because this is the biggest part of your grade. You have to do 2 essays in here over the 9-week period, and you also have to turn in a rough draft and a final draft of those essays. That's where you see the project step. Now, the first rough draft is due at the end of Unit 2, and then your final draft is due in Unit 3, and then you have a rough draft due again in Unit 5, and then a final draft in Unit 6 again. I always provide lots of resources to do these projects, and I remind you about them constantly because this is the biggest chunk of your grade. You could redo projects as many times as you want to get the grade that you want in here. And again, I will give you lots of help. Now, because they're weighted so heavily, here's a promise I can make to you. If you don't do those 2 projects, you won't pass my course. So you're going to have to do those projects. But another promise I make to you, you'll have lots of help on these. I'm good at helping students through these projects. Your workbook is 10% of your overall grade. These are questions you do as you're going through each lesson, and they usually give them to you in 2 or 3 questions at a time throughout the lesson. The good news on workbooks is you can take these questions as many times as you want. So one of the things that you want, your goal should be to get 90 to 100% on all of your workbooks. Easy, easy, easy. Let's talk another thing that's kind of easy. Well, time consuming, but easy. I loaded, because I've taught world history so much and I've got so many resources, and as a person who loves history, a big part of my history learning came through documentary films. I give you a unit documentary assignment in every unit. And what I do is I give you 3 or 4 choices of movies to watch. They are always 45 to 60 minutes long. World War II is an exception. I've got a 75-minute film on that, but it's so good that it's worth it. But generally, I try to make them shorter. You have to fill in a movie worksheet that's about 20 questions with a 1 to 2 paragraph short essay at the end. And the good news about documentaries is, as long as you are doing them and you fill them out all the way, they're usually I grade them fairly easy, and they generally get students. Most students who do unit documentaries get between 80 and 100% on all these, and it's a huge grade booster. I am murder on essays. I'll tell you that right now. Tests are also hard, and I don't make these tests, but they're difficult. And so are the checkpoints. So it's really nice to have a big assignment that can counteract any bad grades you get on tests or essays. And this is that assignment. And generally what I found in my courses is the students almost always do all the documentaries, and they do them very quickly after I assign them to you. And I think there's 2 reasons for that. 1, they like to see that boost to their grade. And 2, it probably gets tiring reading, and it's nice to take a break and watch a movie sometimes. So I've got that. And I hope my documentaries are good. I try to pick interesting ones. Another thing, there's 2 other things that I want to go over with you, and that is my Google Classroom and the PACE chart. So let me first go to Google Classroom. This is Google Classroom. I assigned you guys into this classroom on Monday and in the morning, and you've got you'll see an announcement when you first get in, and then I also post the unit documentaries in here. I mainly make Google Classroom because I don't have, you'll see that I put the unit documentaries in teacher notes just where they need to be in between, but I don't have a place in FlipSwitch where you can turn those in. And what's nice is you can turn them in here. It makes it very, very easy to turn them in here. And so you've got that. And this is also a place where I give you extra resources. Classroom, by all means, does not replace your normal classroom in FlipSwitch. There's no lessons in here. There's just resources. When I do videos, I post them in here. The nice part about Google Classroom is you get emailed things. Anytime I put a due date on something, it automatically goes to your student calendar. So it's just kind of a good way to keep you organized, and it's a good way to keep materials from my course. And you'll see, very easy to submit things through here. Last thing that I want to talk about is our course PACE chart. So what you're looking at here is a PACE chart. I give all of you guys this PACE chart on Monday morning, and I also on the first day of the course, and I also put a link to it in every single weekly email I send. You can download this. So if you want to print this or something, you can just click print, or you can even download, go file, download as, and you can download it as a Word or Open Office or PDF, and you can have that. And one thing that's kind of good about the pace chart is it shows all the lessons and when you need to do them and which week. So you can see in week 1 here, you need to finish. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Didn't want to change that. In week 1, you need to finish 3 lessons. You need to be done with the Age of Imperialism by Friday afternoon. That's not too hard. Lessons usually take anywhere between 30 minutes to maybe 2 hours at the most. Depends. Every person is different. Every lesson is slightly different. So when you sit down to do my course, you should set a goal to yourself to finish at least 1 lesson. And a lot of students will do 1 course a day, which is just fine. So like, let's say if you're doing my course on Monday of the week and you finish 3 lessons on Monday, guess what? Don't think about my course for the rest of the week because you're done. You've paced yourself. That's why this is called a pace chart. You've done everything you need to this week. Move on to your English class or to your other class. Something else that's important about due dates. So you can see these due dates also in your grade book. And it's a little different. The reason I like to do the pace chart is because the grade book, it gets kind of hard to tell what lesson you're on. There's a lot of stuff in there. And this is a little easier to kind of see what is there and where it occurs. In your grade book, if you go past an assignment and you don't, or lesson, if you hit a lesson due date and you don't turn stuff in, the grade book zeroes out. So if you go to bed one night and you have a B in my course and the next morning you wake up and it's a D, that means that you missed the due date. The good news is there's no penalty, but I can tell you, because students have shared in the past, the key to doing well in online school is staying on progress. It's not hard to do 3 lessons. It is not hard to do 10 lessons in a week if you're a full-time student, which is what our attendance policy requires. If you do that, you're going to see that this is easy to do. If you procrastinate and take 3 weeks off, you're going to be in a world of hurt because now it's not 3 lessons a week, it's 10 lessons a week. So you don't want to do that. You just want to stay on pace. The thing about online schooling is it's different from brick and mortar in that you don't come in and have a teacher saying, okay, open your book and we do this. You're in control of that, but that doesn't mean that the course is not moving on without you. So it's important to see this. The big ticket items that have a big influence on your grade, the documentaries, the projects, they are marked in red. And so that's just so you cannot miss them. And again, I will notify you and notify you and notify you. Now, you'll notice over here that we have a column called resources and tips. I urge you to keep this pace chart as a Google Doc because as I go in, we've just started this course. I've never taught it before, but as I go in and I make these resources, I'm going to add them and you're going to already see the documentary by like tomorrow. Or maybe Wednesday at the latest, I'll have this in. And so as I get resources, I'm going to put them into the pace chart just to give you one more place to have these because that's important. I make lots of stuff to help you do well in this course. And so I want you to get this stuff and do well. That's about all that I had to share with you. I go back to the ugly mug. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of attach a face and a voice to a name and give you a little bit of a personal welcome to my course. I'm excited to have you in here. And as always, I'm excited to teach this course. And so I urge you to keep in touch with me. If you need help, please reach out. I don't bite. None of the teachers here bite. And we are happy to help you. So good luck in here. Stay on pace and looking forward to reading your work, grading your work, helping you, instructing you. And I hope that you will have a great term with us. Thanks for choosing our school and thanks for choosing my course.